to repair the bathroom. And to move through this, we had another complaint on 325 about a sewer smell at 215 Meadow. And we moved 23 loads of water on that day. So in between 2022 and 3 of 22, another month, all these days we were just removing water out of that manhole to keep water off of that subdivision. Still not knowing it was a DOT problem. So when we got that, we jetted the system, we jetted the line, and we thought we had a blockage broken free from that end, but we continued to remove loads of water from the sewer. This is going to be long, so it's going to be a long discussion here. So on 4/1, JL from NH2O came out at 9:10. They reported that 215 Meadow had another backup over the weekend, and there was no emergency call over the weekend, and so they had removed 21 loads of water from the sewer system again and found some debris in the pipe. So let me just move forward so that we can get through this. There's just more and more, another page full of this. So we told Servpro to tear out the bathroom on 4/4 to start fixing it because it had flooded it. And then on 4/11, the city received about 3 inches of rain in a short period of time, which caused 215 Meadow to flood again. And at this point, Servpro was just about complete with the bathroom. There was about $6,000 or $7,000 worth of work because they redid the whole bathroom. Well, I was actually in Jacksonville coming back when I got a call that it was starting to come up through the hole where the toilet was supposed to be. So there was up to the point they were about to put the toilet in and finish the bathroom. And so when I got the call, I told them, drill holes in the floor of the bathroom. We can replace the floor again if we need to, but I want the water to go out under the house and not spread throughout the house. Well, the people didn't act quick enough, and it spread throughout the house. So that's how the whole house flooded. Now, when I got to town, I observed the size of the hole. I went to Howland's, found what I needed really quick, came back to the house, put it in the hole, stomped it, and I stopped the flood. But it was too late at that point because people on site had figured out what to do. And I'm not going to belabor this by wondering why I got to come back to Jacksonville, from Jacksonville, and fix the problem myself personally. So then we rehired Servpro again, since they were already there, comfortable and used to the site, to continue on with the work. So in the end, it cost us a little over $60,000 to make these people right. We had to put the actual occupants up in Airbnbs and pay Servpro to fix it. And then when our insurance company found out that it was a DOT problem, once we cambered the pipe and found the foam and cleaned it out, then we didn't have to take water out of that manhole anymore. We finally figured it out way after the fact. So then I said, well, we'll have to sue DOT. Well, when we realized it was DOT's problem, our insurance company says, I'm not paying anything because it's DOT's fault. So in the end, if we take DOT to court, which goes to the state, we could be in litigation for years and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars instead of just spending the $60,000 to make the people whole. So we had an owner that it was their house, and we had renters that lived there at that point in time. And that's why the money was spent, because I wanted to make the people whole. Not that I was giving money to anybody. I wanted to do what's right. It didn't matter who it was in town. I'd have done the same for anybody. So I looked at it like it was the city's fault until I realized later, 3 months later, that the DOT was the real problem. But we spent hours and hours of time with H2O removing, I mean, loads after loads after loads of water just to keep water off that subdivision. I don't know, do you know about how many hours we spent on that, Micah?
It was a lot, and a lot of overtime on weekends and setting up bypass pumps.
I mean, weekends, during the days, everything. We spent tons of money just trying to mitigate the problem before we even knew it was a problem by DOT. So that's it in a nutshell.
So we filed with our insurance, and our insurance said no. And they filed with DOT.
And we went to DOT with a complaint, and they're like, don't worry about us, we're going to worry about you. So that's where we're at.
So my question is, and I think probably leaving into other folks' mind, for as a decision to pay that $60,000, I guess out of city funds, yes, for as without permission from this board, you made a decision, and I can't remember everything you said way back then about that. But I tell you what, Mr. Okay, but that's what I think what we're getting at as far as, and then the way you put it, that I'll do it again. We understood about the residents, we understood DOT, we try to understand about our insurance being reimbursing us on a problem that was not our problem, and it belongs to the state itself. They didn't want to pay, or we're afraid to go to court because it would linger in court long enough. But I think that what made a lot of folks angry about the authorization of a decision to deal with the $60,000 to that resident.
Well, the situation didn't start out at $60,000. It was incremental. Every time there was something that happened, you want me to make decisions on the fly to make things better for the safety and security of the citizens of Iowa. And so when we first started out with the initial part, I'm able to make those decisions. And then when something else happens, I made that decision. So it's not a cumulative $60,000 check I wrote or did or gave to anybody. It was a bunch of small items that continued to happen that we were trying to fix. And I have the full authority to do that. I don't think you want me to wait a whole month while people's things are flooding and being messed up and with no answers to the people that's being affected, to the next meeting to ask y'all for permission to do something. I'm a man of action, and I took action to make the best of it, not knowing that the DOT was ever the problem at the very beginning.
But you didn't seem deemed necessary to get with council and about far as paying this money out. I know you apologized or you did something saying, I'll do it again, if I can remember.
Well,
correctly.
like I said, I have the authority to do this. It started out at about $6,000, and I have the authority to spend that much, within the city to make things happen. And I'm not going to wait and sit in my office and ignore a problem. I'm going to go out there and address problems. There's lots of places here that I've been under people's trailers looking for leaks and this, that, and the other. I mean, I'm out and about in the city all the time, and when this problem came up, at that point in time, it was a city sewer that backed up on these people. So that's why I started the initiation of the work, not knowing the DOT problem was a bigger problem down the road. But I knew when DOT showed up, because in my timeline, they showed up months before and did what they did way before we figured out the problem in a whole nother place. So I have the authority to make decisions to fix things.
We understand, we understand the duty and responsibility of a city manager, and you are the CEO of the city. We do understand that. But and then some things we expect the communication to come through, because now, if I remember what was said back then, what's being said now, and it's kind of not like glue sticking together. But yeah, we understand your job and your duties and responsibilities. We do expect that. If not, then we have to not be so busy in our city council position and do the things that you do. But that's why we've hired you as a city manager to do these things, and this is part of your criteria of your job.
I don't know if the minutes are out there, but I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it over time, because it was about a 4 or 5 month period of time when all these things were happening. And I know I would have brought it up at least a couple of meetings.
I think these activities that happened was before this council, if they
Mhm,
came
right, it
aboard
was.
and this was
Right,
something that occurred when you guys.
of
It
course.
started in 119 of 24 is when DOT had the
Right.
first sinkhole on 129.
Exactly right. I think myself and Mr. Campbell, our second year, on that, and then deal with all of that. So, yes, but we do understand what your duties and responsibility are as a city manager. So hopefully, this matter be resolved and put behind us. And go from there.
Ms. Ross, any further for allow Ms. Williams to? All right, Ms. Williams? Ms. Williams, you use the microphone over at the far left. Yes, ma'am, sorry.
And this will be the two combined?
Sure.
Do I need to give my,
You just say your name, please.
okay, Anita Williams. With all due respect, Mr. Sessions, so if I'm to understand you, you had no problem giving out $60,000+ without permission from the council, because I've talked to some council that didn't know about the money. Because I don't even know if we would be here if I wasn't calling all the time to complain about you. This is totally unethical what you did. And I can tell you why. You had no problem taking the initiative to give some people on Meadows $60,000+ to repair a problem that was not the city's. Your first job was to come to the council, not spend the money. But this young lady's daughter's house flooded, nobody. A house over on Houston across from my mom's church flooded. I went there and videotaped cars being towed out of the yard. No help. I called you multiple times about my mom's house with the top coming off the sewers in the road, running into the driveway for days. And I couldn't even get you to put new filling in her driveway. You know who finally came? Mr. Campbell, and had something dropped off to her. So please, don't think, I'm on a board, many boards in California. You would be in extreme trouble. Then you have $450,000 that is missing. This happened in Tallahassee as well. $1 million was missing. It was the sheriff, the police, the DLE, the FBI looking for the money. But the question I have is, did you have a known contractor? Because I get phishing emails all the time. And when I'm sending money, the bank says over and over. When I'm sending money to people in Africa or Haiti, they ask me over and over, do you know these people? Now I'm trying to understand why a second payment was sent if we know the contractors. Because we're myself and Ms. Finance Director, the new person, please don't make these kind of mistakes. We have, because I don't know how he got the $60,000+ unless the Finance Director had to sign off on it. That's unethical. The $450,000, can you answer how it went a second time to the contractor if we could physically go look at the contractor and say, did you get the first payment? That's what I'm confused about.
Again, Ms. Williams, it's not a question and answer session.
Okay, well, that's a question everybody here should be working, and I don't live here, but my mother lives here. And I have no trust that you all are going to sign another contract for a man who gave one family 60+. I gave away 3 times. I imported $40,000 here to give away things to families whose houses were flooded, who needed all kinds of supplies.
Ms. Williams, we
None
have
of those
everybody
people
else.
got money.
We have to make sure we wind it up.
If you guys, you need to have some audit that's not the same audit that you get. You need the same kind of audit that they're having in Tallahassee. It needs to be outside, because if you take money once, you will take money twice.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. All right, item 5C. Mr. Owens? You're 5, you're all the way to C.
Um, 5C, discussion with possible action on inactive utility accounts. I think this is more or less probably discussion about utility accounts. It was brought to my attention that when an account is terminated, that we continue to charge a fee. I asked where was the policy and the procedure regarding it. I spoke with the city clerk, and it was no policy, or he couldn't find a policy or ordinance that regarded that. He sent me to JL, who was then our public director, public works director. And speaking with JL said, well, he said, oh yeah, it is. He looked. He could not find it. And what he said, then he finally said, oh, it's just something that had been handed down to me, something that we do. And when I spoke to Mr. Session about it, I said, okay, where is I want to see the policy, I want to see the ordinance regarding how utilities, inactive utilities are charged to businesses and to residents. And his reply was the same as it's something that we've always been doing. And it makes me think about this, the story about where this family, and I know all of you all have heard this right here, the mom would cook a roast and the young ladies would be there looking at her and she would cut it in half. Then the mom goes to the daughter house and the daughter does the same thing, and she asks, why are you cutting the roast in half? And she said, because I've always seen you do it like that. And the answer was, no, I did it like that because I didn't have a pot that was, a roasting pot that was large enough to do that. So when we start having things just passed down, and then it doesn't start making sense. The business owners here in this city should be screaming about, because when I found out that the bill never stops with them until they actually come in, they are charged a fee every month for even for termination. If they, what I'm saying is, if they do not have service with the city, they are still charged a monthly fee for their use. For residents, I was told that it's about a 2-month cycle of if my service is terminated, you're still going to bill me, not just for what I use, but for just having, I guess, a meter there, whatever. And what I'm asking is, make it make sense for me. I did call around to several cities. I called around Lake City, High Springs, Alachua, called around to see what cities were doing, how they managed their inactive fees. Some did charge, and a lot didn't. And so I want to see some type of policy, written policy or ordinance that determines that when an account becomes inactive, that we no longer charge people for not using. They can't use it. You all come and turn it off, but you're still going to bill them for it, month after month after month. I don't understand that.
I'd like to answer that.
Okay,
So I gave you a note
Yeah.
that shows ordinance number 1486, and you said you didn't get anything from me. And also shows ordinance number 1305 about these answers. So I don't know why you said that I never gave you any ordinances.
No, I
You
didn't.
said that.
Okay, if I said that, here's what, when I asked you, you told me that was your answer when I asked you. 1406, ordinance 1406.
No, you didn't ask me anything, you asked Miss Tammy in a note, but I answered it.
No, Mr. Session, you came in, I was up here, but I'm not gonna, I was up here. I was in JL's office, and you came into JL's office, and the three of us sat there, and we discussed this.
And we said there's a 2-month shut off. When you go 2 months, they automatically turn you off.
For the residents.
Pretty sure it's a 2-month shut off for commercial too.
No, you told me it goes on and on and on, that there's no end to that.
Well,
Now,
we'll agree to disagree on that one. But the problem is, and I've personally told people in the city that have accounts that they're concerned with, because if they don't shut it off, they can put it on vacation for $25 and then re-establish it later down the road for $25 more to start it back. Believe it or not, I showed Ms. Gross how to do that with her business on Walker Street.
You'll have to go to the microphone.
Marion Groves, 322 Houston Avenue. I don't know if it's on or not. But anyway, before I came to you, I kept coming up here. They charged me $240-something every month. I had everything off because I wasn't open up. Ain't been open up in a year. And they charged me for the trash can that I never got. They were charging me $60-something when I got through every month my bill from June all the way through to part of 2024 when they had the shooting to now, until I done the $50 thing. But I said, why y'all charging me? I ain't in there, I ain't using nothing. I got my electric on because I need that or whatever. And they just say, well, you can't have the water on. They were charging me for gas. I wasn't cooking nothing and stuff. So I've been paying money out for months, $200-something every month, till you cut the thing off that way. But I ain't got no garbage can or nothing. So I asked, and I came to you and asked, why at least take the $60 off my bill a month. I ain't got no garbage can, I ain't got no garbage, and I'm still responsible for trying to pay